What's good? What's good? It's the one and only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. So, it is fight week. We have Chris Eubanks Jr. versus Conor Benn. And what is, for me, just for me, because it's not really big in America, but for me, a highly anticipated matchup. I don't think that, I think that this fight is a bizarre fight. I don't think I saw it coming. I don't think too many people saw it coming, but it's here. All right. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about the fight first and foremost, and stay tuned to the end of the video because Kell Brook makes his prediction on the fight with Eubanks and Conor Benn. I'm gonna save that to the end of the video or whatnot, because mostly this video is me. I have an issue. Well, this video is me talking about the issue that I have with not Kell Brook, Conor Benn's team. They're saying some things that I'm not liking. Conor Benn, Eddie Hearn. It's one thing that I don't like about this situation here. And even reading the article with Kell Brook that I read, I just found out that it's a rehydration clause. I think I knew that, but I forgot about the fact that it's a rehydration clause. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip from what was it? It was on, I think it was on DAZN's boxing page or whatnot, on YouTube. I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip of what they're talking about, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get into it because I'm not liking where this is going. But just stay tuned, hear me out. Let's go ahead and play the clip.
50-50 fight, and the reason it's a 50-50 fight is because of the size difference.
You know, jumping up 2 weight divisions, yes. Does it faze me? Not really. It's a fight. Well, let's fight.
Conor Benn is a welterweight coming up to middleweight. He's at a huge size disadvantage, but he's much better. He's much younger. He's much fresher, but he's coming up against a much bigger man.
I've got no.
Now, here's my question. My first question I'm gonna pose to you guys is, all right, Conor Benn's last 2 fights was at 154 pounds, right? Now, I'm not taking up for anybody, but I'm posing this question to my boxing fam, and I want you guys' honest answer. Is it really, can you really say Conor Benn is moving up from welterweight to fight Chris Eubanks when his last 2 fights was at 154 pounds or at super welterweight? I don't like, cause that's like, to me that's kind of like, I don't know about that. Can we really say he's moving up 2 weight classes? His last fight was just at 154. So for me, it would be more so, and I get it, he's a career welterweight, but his last 2 fights was at 154 pounds. So really, technically, isn't he only moving up 1 weight class? Like, I want to know you guys' opinion on that, all right? Please make sure you drop that in the comment section. I gotta hear it. All right, furthermore, here's the thing that I don't like, right? They're using the way that's why sometimes I don't like situations like this where a fighter's moving up to fight another fighter, because then what happens is, if Chris Eubanks beats the brakes off of Conor Benn, the first thing they're gonna do is say they're gonna blame it on the weight. You know what I'm saying? But here's my issue with that, bro. You guys knew his weight before you guys signed the contract, so I don't get that. Like, for me, like, that's like, I don't like stuff like that, bro. Even with Kell Brook, I didn't like the Kell Brook versus Triple G fight, right? I hated that fight. You know what I'm saying? Because it just didn't make sense. Like, it was why are you moving up to 2 weight classes to fight this knockout artist, right? But he did, and then now he has to, the IBF still makes Kell Brook fight Errol Spence, and then people want to use the fact that he moved up to fight Triple G. Fam, whose fault is that? That's your fault. You shouldn't have did it. And I'm gonna hold Conor Benn to the same standards. With the same standards, like, bro, you moved up. You guys knew, like, you guys wanted this fight. Y'all wanted this fight. Conor Benn hopped his weird hairstyle having ass in the ring. And this is no shade to Conor Benn, because I don't know who I want to win this fight, to be honest with you. But Conor Benn hopped in the ring or whatnot, been calling Chris Eubanks out. I don't even understand. To me, it's bizarre how Conor Benn is upset at Chris Eubanks, but you're the one that tested positive for a banned substance. Like, how are you upset with Chris Eubanks for that? Like, Chris Eubanks ain't have nothing to do with that. You did that, so you can't get mad at Chris Eubanks. You know what I'm saying? But you've been pressing for this fight. You've been calling him out. You've been showing up, pushing this dude and all this type of stuff. But then it's like, bro, to me, you're already hiding behind an excuse, and I'm not feeling that at all. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, nah, bro. If you know what this man's weight is, you're choosing to move up. It is what it is, bro. And granted, yes, are you moving up to fight him? Yes. Granted, the former weight, the official weight was actually supposed to be at 157 pounds in the first fight when they was when they were first supposed to fight. But Conor messed that up. You know what I'm saying? And now it's a rehydration clause. Look, I don't want to hear no excuses if Chris Eubanks beats Conor Benn. Conor Benn is very explosive. Conor Benn is a very explosive fighter. Could he hurt Chris Eubanks? Well, if you would have asked me that like 2 years ago, I would have said no, because Chris Eubanks has been in there with heavy hitters, and we never seen him get knocked down or knocked out until he fought Liam Smith. And now I don't know what I don't know what happened with Chris Chin in at that moment, but. So before that fight, I would have said it's absolutely no way Conor can hurt Chris, but maybe he can now. I don't know. Maybe Chris has passed his time now. I don't know. I don't know what that situation was about. But, Conor can hurt Chris. Could the weight have an effect on Conor? Absolutely. I'm not saying, don't get it twisted. I'm realistic in this. I understand that weight can come into play in this fight, right? He's moving up to 160. We don't know how that weight is going to affect him. It's just like Terrence Crawford. I don't want the Terrence Crawford versus Canelo fight, though you have many people that I thought knew boxing arguing me up and down that Terrence Crawford is going to stop Canelo Alvarez. Now I'm going for Terrence Crawford. I'm cheering for him, but I don't want to hear if, and I'm saying if Canelo Alvarez beats Terrence Crawford, I don't want to hear no excuse about weight, because you guys knew that. I was preaching that, and y'all still picked Terrence Crawford. And the same thing is going on with Conor Benn. Like, you guys, I just don't want to hear no excuses when it comes to weight, bro. You guys knew that this man was a weight class above y'all. Y'all knew what it was. If weight comes into effect, cool. I don't want to hear no excuse about it, though. Give that man his credit. He beat your ass. Go back down to 147 if you can make it, because I'm not a fan of guys moving up in weight and then dropping back to weight. That's dangerous. If you can make 147 pounds safely, go for it and try to win a belt there. And do whatever you do in your career. But I just I don't like that. They've been hindering on weight for a long time now. Oh, he's and one of the things Conor Benn said, like on one of their face-offs, he was like, oh, you're fighting a welterweight. You're fighting a welterweight. Well, bro, okay, that just lets me know that you're just gonna use that as an excuse, bro. Like, it's just, man, it's like sickening, bro. Like, that just lets me know, like, bro, you're trying to hide behind that, because, fam, you're not even really a welterweight. Technically, you're a super welterweight. That's what you just fought at, but whatever, bro. Whatever. That's just my take on that, man. I think this is gonna be a very entertaining fight. I for sure 100% know it's gonna be entertaining. It's not gonna be a lackluster fight at all. I would pick. I'm gonna pick Chris Eubanks to win just based off of size does come into effect, right? But again, I don't want to hear that excuse, because you knew that when you were picking when you chose to fight him. So you know what I'm saying. But I am gonna pick Chris Eubanks to win. I don't know if Chris Eubanks is not really a good boxer to me. He's decent, but he's a good fighter, but he's not he doesn't have his fundamentals down. I think Conor Benn has the better fundamentals for sure. He's more, and I think Conor Benn is more explosive with his punches, but I just don't see him beating Chris Eubanks. Chris Eubanks Jr. is just too big for him, and especially the more that fight goes on, the worse I see it for Conor. If Conor's gonna have any shot of beating Chris, he's gonna have to get him out early, probably within like the first half of the fight, like the first 6 rounds of the fight. After that, I feel like weight will come into play, and it's gonna be an uphill battle for Conor Benn. That's just my take on it, man. But I definitely want to hear you guys' take on it as well, man. And I mean, the build up. Shout out to both of them. Shout out to Matchroom. Shout out to The Zone. The build up has been phenomenal, man. I mean, you have people. They got the history between the fathers. They got the segments of the fighters in training camp. They got just, you know, the face-offs. Like, it's just, you know, even though the face-off is from a few years ago, you can still go back and watch it. They got the face-off, even with the other face-off that I did the video on. It's just you know, the more recent face-off. It's just a great build-up. They really did a good job of building up this fight. So I take my hats off to them. But that's enough about me. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Who are you picking to win this fight? Now stay tuned, because I'm gonna go ahead and drop Kell Brook's prediction. All right, but what do I know? So shout out to, what is this, talksports.com. It says Kell Brook is confident that Chris Eubanks Jr. can get the job done against Conor Benn this weekend. However, the 38-year-old former IBF welterweight champion from Sheffield believes he'd have both Brits' number if he faced him in his heyday. Eubanks Jr. meets Benn on Saturday night at the, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in what's one of boxing's most highly anticipated bouts of the year. For me, I'm excited about it because I know, you know, the history between the two and their father. But it's definitely, not to ruffle on anybody's feathers. Shout out to all my UK fam out there, but this fight is not talked about at all out here. I'm just gonna keep it 100. In the US, ain't nobody talking about Conor Benn. Don't nobody know Conor Benn nor Eubanks. So I don't know if I would say that's the most highly anticipated or one of the most highly anticipated fights of the year. Definitely in the UK, but as far as out here, like, ain't nobody really talking about him other than hardcore boxing fans like your boy. But anyways, it says after fighting at welterweight and super welterweight, Benn is fighting at middleweight for the first time in his career. He has declared that he will get Eubanks Jr. outside of 4 rounds to right the wrongs of his father's defeat to Chris Eubanks Sr. All right, which was 35 years ago, by the way. But anyways, Eubanks Jr. on the other hand is cutting weight down to 160 for the grudge match. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't understand how people keep saying the dude's cutting weight to 160. Like, wasn't he fighting at 160 already? Or somebody correct me if I'm wrong, bro, but wasn't he already fighting at 160? Like, why do they keep saying he's cutting weight to 160? I don't get that. Anyways, I mean, I know he moved up to 168 for a little bit, like, to fight like Arthur Abraham, and, you know, he lost to who was it that he lost to up there? I can't even remember. Was it? I can't remember who it was who he lost to. But he lost at 168, but I thought he moved back down. I thought he'd been at 160 for a very long time now. Back at 160. But anyways, the 35-year-old has faced some brutal weight cuts in his career considering his size. He looked deflated when he was trying to make 157 limit for his canceled bout with Benn 3 years ago. He will need to make the weight limit this week, but is unable to rehydrate with the clause in place preventing him to bulk. Oh shoot, I forgot it was a rehydration clause. Oh snap, that makes it interesting. Prevent him to bulking beyond 170 pounds by fight night. Brook recognized weight may be an issue for Eubanks Jr., but he is still back in the IBO middleweight title holder. Don't let that confuse any of you that's listening to this. The IBO is not a legitimate title. It's a great value title. It's not a champ. It's the only, like, for the casual boxing fans that's in here, the only titles that are legitimate titles are the IBF, the WBO, the WBC, and the WBA. The IBO is not a real title. Don't let nobody fool you on that. Anyways, but he says, Brook says, I've got Eubank winning. I told Talk Sports Boxing, I think just with his size, but I don't know because with the weight could be an issue. What's it going to have to took out of what? What's it going to have took out? They gotta learn how to write this stuff. Like, anyways, basically he's saying he doesn't know how much the weight is gonna come into play. We're going to have to wait and see, but I just slightly favor towards Eubank in this fight because he's boxed on bigger levels. For me, Conor's not really boxed at bigger levels yet. Brook hesitated even less with Talk Sports when asked him about how he would fare against Benn in his prime welterweight days. I smashed them both, he said. Absolutely smashed them both. It's in my blood. I'm excited for the fight. So I don't even have to get into to this anything else. I just wanted to just get that out the way or whatever.